Let me show you the best way that you can test your Facebook ads so you can scale things to the moon wherever you want to grow your business or grow your client's business, as well as how to track these changes really meticulously so you're not really missing anything or confused about what worked and what didn't. So let's get right into it. I'm using this account as an example. And there's a few ways really at the core of everything to track and test your Facebook ads. It really comes down to what's the ad made up of. Well, it's going to be the structure. So that could be like a CBO, ABO, so ad set budget, campaign budget optimization, lifetime budget, daily budget, the copy, the audience, and the creative, as well as the destination, but that's a little bit separate of the ad itself. So I'm going to remove that from the equation for now. And really at its core of all of those different things that you could tweak to either improve or not improve your ads is going to be the copy, audience, and creative. Those are the three most important things that you always need to be testing. And I've done a couple other videos on this, but it's really important to get into a testing schedule. It doesn't really matter what it looks like specifically for you, but with those three kind of primary elements in your Facebook ad, you should at least be testing them, each one of those elements, at least a few times every single week. So if you want to use how I do it, I'll share that now, but you can make it your own way and see kind of what works best for you. So what we like to do is we like to test at least 10 new audiences every single week. We like to test at least 5 to 6 new ad creatives every single week. And then we like to test at least 3 to 5 new pieces of copy every single week. If we stay on that kind of rhythm and we're doing it week in, week out, whether the creative copy is performing or not, and say we run it for a day and it doesn't work after a day and we turn it off and we replace it, we keep doing that formula and we keep having that cadence, and it makes our ads perform a lot better than a lot of like other people that are going to be running ads, because they're not really focused on testing that much. They're more worried on just like set it, forget it, which is good at the beginning, but you really got to have a good cadence. So I'm going to show you how to test a couple of these things, what it really looks like in action. And then I'll give you a really simple cheat sheet at the end of this that will allow you to just follow along and track these changes so you know what you've tried and what's worked and what hasn't worked. Because that's something else that I see a lot of the time that happens is you'll make a change, but you won't track that change that you made. And then you have no idea whether it worked or not, or if it didn't work, right? You just like did it and then you didn't really track it. So I've fell into that trap plenty of times before. So hopefully this video helps you with that. Okay, so first things first is you're going to want to have had to launch one ad. Whether it worked or didn't work doesn't matter, but you need to have launched an ad at this point, and it needs to have ran for at least 2 to 3 days. No less than 2 days. You don't really want to make decisions on ads that have been running for less than 2 days. 3 days I think is a sweet spot. If the ad is like completely out of KPI, then sure, you can judge it a little early, but give it at least 2 days. I really like 3. And so let's say you're at that point. I'm going to use this ad up here, this campaign, to kind of serve as an example. So, and let's just say this has been running for a week now, right? So in the past week, this has spent $182. It's gotten me 8 leads at $22 a lead, right? Now you can follow the same process along for your own ad account. Obviously just use your own numbers, but you can see how I kind of go about it. So first thing I like to do is look at it for the past week, if it's been running for that long. If it's only been running for 3 days, look at the past 3 days, right? And you'll start to look at the metrics. So our CPM is quite high. That could mean something wrong with the audience. Our cost per link click is pretty high. Link click-through rate is very low and click-through rate is low. So this is where the problem is originating. The problem is really originating in the copy and the creative right here. Why I know that? The link click-through rate really tells me, okay, is the copy doing a good job at getting someone to click through? It's actually doing a fairly good job here. It's close to 1%. That's where you really want your baseline, is a 1% link click-through rate. We're pretty close, so I'd say the copy isn't in too bad of a shape. Click-through rate is more creative. We want that to be at least around a 2 to 3% minimum. I'd say at least, obviously, probably a 3% minimum. So this is definitely lacking. And I think because this creative isn't stopping the scroll, and I think the copy could be a little bit better to get it to 1%, these two would in turn drop the cost per link click, which would drop the CPM. I think that there's maybe something that could be done on the audience side of things, but our frequency isn't too high, so I don't really think that's the problem. So once I've kind of identified that, so I've identified that the copy and the creative, and I think more so the creative than anything, needs to be changed. What I'll do at that point is I'll check to see, okay, is the past 7 days good, or is something changing in the past few days? So then I'll look at yesterday's stats. So, okay, look at that. My click-through rate went up. Link click-through rate is really down. Cost per link click went through the roof because of that. Past 3 days, same kind of a thing, right? Yeah, so I really think if we improve the copy and the creative, these two metrics will improve as well. So let's go ahead and do that. What I would do from this point is I would then duplicate this ad set, keep it in this campaign, and then I'm just going to name what I'm testing. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and test creative. So I'll just put creative in front of that so I know I'm testing creative. And then I'll tweak the budget and make it a little bit cheaper because we don't want to spend a ton on the test. And everything else you should leave alone. You can leave all this stuff alone. Then what I'm going to do is I'm really just going to test creative. So this was dynamic. I don't want to test dynamic. I just want to test a single image. So let's grab some creatives. Okay, so I've got these two creatives here, these two cool AI ones. I'm going to start with this Spider-Man one because Spider-Man. So that one's good. This is great. That's all I'm really testing. And then we'll just name it Spider-Man 2 because I have another one. And we'll see how that does. And that's literally all you have to do. And you analyze the stats, you see what statistic is off, what's causing the other stats to go up or down, and then you can go from there. And you can take this a level deeper. So most people would maybe see this and be like, holy crap, my CPMs are crazy. I need to test audiences. And I think in this case, this adds a good example because everything isn't amazing, right? I mean, the ones that are doing better than others, like this link click-through rate is closer to where I want it to be than where the CPM is. But this click-through rate is also a little bit off. Like if I want it at 3%, like that's not that great. So the creative, I'd say, is worse than everything else. And with CPMs, people do get very, very hung up on this. Take it into account with all the other statistics that you're looking at, as well as what industry you're in, right? So, for example, I'm targeting the interest of copywriting. Well, the interest of copywriting with the industry of marketing and the product that I'm promoting, which is marketing focused, it's probably going to be fairly competitive, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean I'm targeting wrong. Like I've seen on my ad account, because I'm going after like marketing, entrepreneurship, the CPMs tend to be a little bit more expensive. It's just how it is, right? It doesn't mean I'm not going to want to change it or try to change it because I could do different things like placements, audience tests, things like that to kind of drive that down. So the first test I did was creative. What I could do from here is look a little bit deeper and see, are there any placements that are doing better than others? So I could filter this by placements, filter this here, and it looks like the cheapest CPMs that have actually gotten a click, because yeah, like ads on Reels, great, it's got really cheap CPMs, so it hasn't gotten a single click, right? Whereas Facebook Marketplace, maybe Instagram feed is super expensive. What about Facebook feed? Yeah, but look at this. Facebook right column. Facebook search results. Facebook right column is really good. Facebook feed on desktop. Facebook feed on mobile is pretty expensive. So it looks like feed on desktop, Reels on mobile, and probably Instagram Explore. I could filter those placements down and start testing it that way. So that's kind of how I look at everything. Once again, you want to look at how everything relates to each other. Not just, oh my gosh, my CPMs are really bad, that means I need to test audiences, because then you'll miss something entirely. And 80-90% of the time, if you test a new creative and copy, you are going to get a better result even if you left everything else alone. The easiest way to win on paid ads is just by testing a ton of creative content, right? Pictures, videos, copy. Now, if you like that and you want to kind of see how I take this even further, I've got this cheat sheet. You can get it by joining my group, or you can just check the description. You can email me or message me on Instagram to get this. But this kind of takes you each KPI step by step. Like I knew off the top of my head, yeah, I want a click-through rate of 2-3% or higher, my CPMs, etc., my link click-through rate. This is off of a ton of ad data from a ton of different industries and a lot of niches, and it usually falls in line with your niche no matter what niche you're in. You may want to tweak it a little bit depending, and let's say you launch an ad and right off the bat your cost per link click is 50 cents and you're crushing it. Okay, you may want to choose your baseline a little bit differently and say, okay, my cost per link click needs to be less than 50 cents because you just launched something the first time and that's where you're at. Well, you probably need to tweak it from there. So the sheet basically shows you the KPI, what it means at a third grade level, what it affects, And then there's a couple video trainings here that you can watch for how to actually influence it. And then what you can do is you can actually make a copy of the sheet if you want, add in a column right here, and you can see if you've tested it. And then you could even see results, right? And then you could say, yes, did not work, cost per link click remained, right? And then you can have notes on everything that you're doing to kind of see, okay, did what I actually test work or did it not, right? So super useful stuff. Check it out. And then also something new that I want to say is I'm having free trainings a couple times a month. You should see a link below this video. The very first link should give you an option to register for the next training. I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it's going to be like somewhere soon, and I'm going to plan to do 2 of them a month. They're 100% free. It is just free training. There's nothing more than that. So go check it out. You can bring your questions if you want, because I may have time at the end for a Ask Me Anything. And I hope you enjoy them. If you like this video, let me know. Like, subscribe below, and comment if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to help you out.